so we'll see what the first 3 tests house for us. The old double big bucks start.
Well, this is always interesting. To see whether or not the racers decide they want to try to hold on to that gold for dear life. This is always interesting.
Yeah, it's always interesting and looks like a desert start, so that'll be interesting to see how that works here. Jkoper taking what many would call the correct approach and just ignoring the gold when you don't see a town. They've got decent strength, so killing enemies shouldn't be a problem here at the start. I didn't see a check for spells on either of them, so if I missed a spell there, definitely let me know in chat. We'll be doing the double commentating, tracking, double duty here, so odds are I'm going to miss a few things, so feel free to scream at me in chat all you want, guys. jkoper taking down a scorpion, which is going to skip him right to level 3 here. And we've already got hurt more. So that's going to make this seed kind of fly for a start. jkoper trying to dodge a couple trolls there to get some heavy experience. Start looking for the boundaries of the map here. jkoper trying to dodge a couple trolls there to get. Going to go ahead and settle for that warlock. Start looking for the boundaries of the map here. jkoper trying to dodge a couple. LordoftheSynth is a magician, kill away from her more as well, so he should be well on his way momentarily as well. Kind of surprising, we haven't seen anything too gruesome pop out yet. Spectre, ooh, if he didn't get back attacked, well, no MP really left either, but that might be a zone that he goes back to. That's pretty good, that's a pretty good early Hurtmore enemy to find. MP really left either, but that might be a zone that he goes back to. That's a pretty good early Hurtmore enemy to find. Finding a town as of yet. He does find an old man sitting in a cave. Will be where we trade in the silver harp for a staff of rain later on. There's a town. And it's coal, so that's fantastic. Could be a free, very important item or piece of armor here. And it's coal, so that's fantastic. Could be a free, very important. Okay, so So this is a fantastic start. Okay, so this is a fantastic start. You really can't ask for much more than being about 5 minutes in. You've got level 5, you've got Hurtmore, and you've got Erdrick's armor. You really can't ask for much more than being about 5 minutes in. You've got level 5. Lord of the Synth going a different path. He did find a metal slime that ran away from him already, but he's also going to find another cave entrance. jkoper's going to find a different cave entrance here that ran away from him already, but he's also going to find another cave entrance. jkoper's going to find a different cave entrance here that ran away from him already. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know if we can bump the volume at all on my mic at all. I'm at max on my end, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know if we can bump the volume late at night where I'm at on my mic. I'm not gonna be able to scream much louder on my end, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We've got the bonus cave down. I missed what it was. We're finding caves galore here. Apologies for the kinks here, guys. Trying to work everything out. We're about 9 minutes in at this point. And the levels are really starting to fly by for jkoper here. Really finding a bevy of very good Hurtmore enemies. Seems like Lord of the Synth is getting a little more of the enemies that are going to beat you to a bloody pulp and send you home than jkoper has so far, but Tides can turn here very easily. Another big thing that's kind of outstanding is keys. We're gonna need to find some keys to get to some of these other chests. So it looks like jkoper has one key at the least here. He's also beating up enemies really well, so I'm wondering if I didn't miss him picking up the sword or something to that effect. The attack power is not extraordinarily high yet. Reasonably open seed here, though. I mean, it's really amazing what finding some specters and knights and, you know, druid lords, enemies like that will just push up that experience so quickly when you have her more. We've seen quite a few metal slimes hanging around too. I don't think either one of them have taken one down unless I missed it, but it wouldn't shock me at some point before too long. So since we've had a little timer hiccup here, we're only about 12 minutes 40 seconds into the seed, give or take. Another metal slime for jkoper, and he is able to take it down. This place jkoper's in, which I think, if I'm understanding right, is the mountain cave, or swamp cave perhaps, I can't really tell. But it's crawling with metal slime, so that's fantastic. So, I'm sure chat's doing a better job of keeping up with this than I am, but I don't think we've found any of the really important items as of yet, so that's a little interesting. We're just gonna stare at these two walking through caves, unlit for us. No cognizance of the viewer. So they've each got their one key. They're each walking around in caves that have metal slimes. I'm going to assume it's the same cave, and just kind of meandering through it. Yeah, we're gonna have to ban blackout seeds. Too many players are getting too good at this game. Got a quick jump back to the castle for Lord of the Synth here, who did pick up a key earlier as well, so he can translate this into a full set of keys and start opening treasury chests here before a minute or two. He's got what looks like just enough gold to get himself that full set. And gonna check the basement first.
Well, it looks like I missed a fair bit while I was ironing out those last few technical details there.
Yeah, this has been a lightning seed so far. I mean, we're only 17 and a half minutes in, and they've already got just about everything they necessarily need immediately. Just a matter of finding those items and grinding up some more levels, really.
Yeah, one assumes if the statistical progression keeps up, it's kind of going at a decent pace, it looks like, with jkoper at level 10 there.
And we've got the sword in the treasury, and we've got some big bucks in the treasury, so a gold grind is available.
Wow, going quickly already and then picking up the sword and then knowing that the gold grind is available in the treasury, this is setting up at least. Just 18 minutes in or so to be going pretty quickly.
It really is. I think Lord of the Synth is headed towards coal, if I remember the directions that jkoper took early. Yeah, jkoper seems to be farming these metal slimes, which is kind of a big risk reward. But at this stage in the game, it's not too unfruitful. Not sure. I think this might be coal that Lord of the Synth is approaching right now. Rimmildar. Not going to be as good here, but there may be something important in that double door chest.
Looks like we've got at least a silver shield for sale. We know that the gold grind is available, so that's a possibility for a little bit later on. Got the Stones of Sunlight there in the single Rimmildar chests, so a little bit more important to stop, even though LordoftheSynth didn't need any keys, still picking up that key item.
So, yeah, that's going to be huge. It didn't look like it was on necessarily the clearest of paths, but I don't think it was so far away that would cause jkoper a lot of trouble, but you never know. jkoper's about to pick up his sword after he takes a peek in the basement here.
Based on the walking pattern there, I think that's the mountain cave in the tangible basement.
That's my guess from the little one tile and the way Link's facing at different times. I think that's correct.
Yeah, since we don't have jkoper playing the other audio right now, I can't really hear the bonks, but yeah, it looked like he went right and then up and then was able to go right again, so that feels like mountain cave to me.
So that advantage of getting the sword a little quicker than jkoper dried up pretty quickly there. jkoper getting the rare whiff of the Hurtmore on the Armored Knight, but he is going to appear to have gotten away with it here. But now we've got LordoftheSynth and Cole, so we're going to be evened up on Erdrick equipment here momentarily. So right now that Rimmildar find is the only thing really separating the two.
Yeah, still a slight experience points advantage for jkoper at the moment, but that said, LordoftheSynth has got a relatively full complement of equipment and the Hurtmore spell, so that could change in a hurry here if he should decide to grind a little bit.
Yeah, and judging from jkoper already having over 100 attack power, this could be one of those seeds where you are killing enough on your way trying to find everything, you might be at the level you need before you have the rainbow drop, per se.
Yeah, with that much attack power, it can be pretty easy at times to kind of outpace with your exploration there and just have kind of the stats you need, but don't really have all the key items yet.
Yeah, realistically, there's not a stat there that's looking too bad. And let me update to the correct level here so we can really bask in what he has.
Looks like just kind of a steady progression. Perhaps a little above average in just about every statistic for the level.
We've got Lord of the Synth traversing Tablet Cave, which I believe jkoper has already done. And that long walk just to get a torch. Basically trading one out. Yeah, but pointing out in chat, Math Girl, peace of mind. So at least you know it's something you can check off your list of things to do. As jkoper is going to stroll into Garanham, which is another few chests. And possibly maybe the Jerk, maybe Swamp Cave. I'm not sure if we've seen either side of Swamp Cave yet. Get some nice equipment pickups there. The large shield with its defense already at 75, that really may be all he needs, although the gold grind is going to be an option. And we'll see what Garanham is hoarding away from our players tonight. Herb Key Torch. And at least we have the Jerk checked off now. So we've got 2 search spots left out there, and I don't believe that either of them fully dove the grave, because that's where they picked up their first key. Didn't want to throw it away on the 2 chests in the grave immediately. So it's really looking like we're going to have to head back there, because I think all the single chest locations have been opened and practically discarded at this point. And jkoper's, the big difference in experience here, I think, is he stuck around a little area that had those metal slimes, as Will Wagner's pointing out in chat. And that'll bump you up quickly. The Stone Men being the replacement fun police tonight. They've been the ones bouncing people back to the castle the most so far. I might have spoke too soon. I guess they haven't checked the full mountain cave yet. So we're going to see that now. Here's the dragon scale. They already both purchased. About to get to the other couple chests as Lord of the Synth is going to polish off this Spectre and go up another level here. More bucks, so even not sure if he thought to do the treasury right away before coming back down to the mountain cave. That's another way to set up a gold grind since he knew it was down here, but didn't know which chests were going to be which, of course. And there's the harp. We finish off with fairy water there, so we've got, you know, Lord of the Synth has those stones from Rimeldar, so that can be tricky, but jkoper's got about double the experience so far, so that's the trade-off as of yet here.
Yeah, those can have a tendency to even out a little bit. One player might have a little bit of an experience lead, the other player might have a little bit of an exploration lead. But you just kind of have to see how that shakes out as the seed continues.
So we're pretty limited in places the token can be. It's going to be either Hawkness or it's going to be the overworld spot, which I don't believe we've seen Cantlin at all yet. Or it could be in a chest left undiscovered in the grave.
Yeah, that's kind of up in the air until we'll see either of those locations, either Cantlin or get an idea of what might be left.
And Lord of the Synth appears as if he's setting up his gold grind here.
And I think jkoper has just started in on his.
So, right on each other's heels. With the gold grind, it's convenient, and with, as we'd seen, oh, nice plate Drakima on Lord of the Synth side. But
Yeah,
we did see a
one.
silver harp knight for jkoper.
So for those who might be unfamiliar, there is a little bit of a glitch in the game that also existed in the vanilla game. Basically, the game can only have so many open chests at a time, so if you're in a dungeon and have already opened some chests, you can death warp back to the castle and basically gain access to these chests in the treasury over and over again. And so that's what we refer to as the gold grind there. And it looks like they're going to pick up enough for their silver shields and be on their way since they already have the rest of their Erdrick's equipment.
Yeah, nothing else to really worry about except finding those last couple towns that are going to give us the final clues we need here. Each going to be able to cross the staff cave off their list here as well. If Lord of the Synth thinks of that as well here. Can't tell if jkoper's maybe misplaced his town with the silver shield, or if he's just trying to do a little mapping on his.
So LordoftheSynth has got his now. jkoper on the way.
The stats are really starting to take shape too. Nothing is really far away, and the defense is looking pretty good, especially now that he has his silver shield.
Yeah, certainly not bad for jkoper at level 12, and really, I think just about the only thing separating the racers at this point, as you mentioned, are still those metal slimes that jkoper was able to take out in the early going.
Yeah, he got those early, so he parlayed that into a kind of an exponential experience gain.
Looks like LordoftheSynth is heading back into the grave to finally clear it the rest of the way out. We know the Stones of Sunlight are just sitting in that chest in Rimuldar, but I don't believe jkoper's been there yet. However, he is right now in Hawksness, so we might get a look at this search tile.
Yeah, so if this is the token, I mean, we're just really on our way. Nothing too challenging as of yet. Kind of a jet seed. But we gotta get the fairy flute troll.
Swing and a miss on that one. So we haven't seen Caitlin yet, to my knowledge, and I did miss a little bit at the beginning, so I apologize if that's incorrect. But they're gonna need those coordinates.
Yeah, definitely call it out in the chat if you saw it, but I don't believe that we've seen Caitlin on either screen as of yet.
Of course, as long as LordoftheSynth is successful on his re-dive of the Grave of Garen here, we might also get a look at what's remaining in those chests in the bottom two floors.
Yeah, the token could be down there, so. jkoper. Knowing that there's much easier ways to get experience, chooses not to use the fairy flute on the golem at the encounter. I missed, since LordoftheSynth is making that dive, I missed what the middle chest was, because he's well on his way to the bottom chest. LordoftheSynth is kind of chipping away at that experience lead here.
Yeah, there's really a lot of high-level monsters here in these couple of floors of the grave, so he's kind of picked his targets here and there and has been able to pick up some experience along this dive.
And some wings at the very bottom. So and unless I'm mistaken, I don't think that we have seen the Swamp Cave either in case Gwayland is needed, so odds are I'm guessing this fight that Caitlin's going to be on the second continent. I'm just kind of taken aback by the enemy groups in this scene as well. I don't think that we've seen any red dragons as of yet. Stonemen have been kind of the worst thing we've seen, and we've seen just a bevy of that kind of upper middle range of enemies for experience that are all easily hurtful.
Yeah, and again, I did miss a little bit at the beginning, but it seems as though the monsters themselves have not had any particularly challenging attributes. No, I haven't really seen any Dragon Lord breath or anything of that that nature.
And jkoper must have the magnet armor on because the metal slimes are just following him around this scene. It's kind of unlucky with those rolls though, and winds up running away after a few turns, kind of wastes his time. There, look at that town placement on jkoper's side. He's blockaded by another metal slime. But we'll see what this town is. It could be very helpful. Oh, there's the other one.
Yeah, so we've got both of them right there, I think.
But you've got to pass through Sextown to get to the Dragon Lord this time around. Somebody paged for Ron Burgundy. This is probably his new favorite seat.
Yeah, Breckenary is now the most important town in Alefgard. So 69 north and 20 west. I guess that's our confirmation then with the token, which I think by process of elimination we could have arrived at that conclusion already, but that must be the token location.
Yep, guaranteed. We've got PTs personally selecting the coordinates for this race. So that's definitely an interesting second continent. Now, we'll see. I would guess, kind of hard to say, that's not really the worst coordinates ever, but I don't remember there being much north of the castle that you could easily get to. So he may just choose to go ahead and pick up the princess real quick, check and see what the spike tile is. Gonna do the torchless walk, it looks like. LordoftheSynth is getting his coordinates. jkoper going up to level 13.
Just looks like those steady gains are just continuing. A little bit of everything.
He's actually almost all the way to 14 here. I know I'm off on my experience counter. Yeah, he did just get it. That was it's too late. I started double guessing myself. But the Axe Knight Spike Tap was probably the best thing he could have seen here. He's got plenty of magic points, a cheap inn nearby, and easy access to the princess for the coordinates. Yeah, everything's just kind of a hot knife through butter so far for jkoper, so there's really only one troll that is left out there, and that's how difficult is Charlotte going to be.
Yeah, and how far are they going to have to grind to pick up the Healmore spell, which I don't think I've seen in the spell list yet?
Not that I have noticed either. Yeah, I mean, at worst it'll be 3 more levels because they're guaranteed to have it by 16. But looks like LordoftheSynth is on the same mindset, going ahead and just grinding up. He's only 2 levels behind jkoper as we speak.
Yeah, I think this...
about 1.5 to 2 levels. And we've got dual Gwaelins going on here. I may have missed it as well, but I'm not sure if LordoftheSynth has necessarily found the staff cave or has been back to it since getting the harp, either one of those. Which that might be a big determining factor if he has to break away from the grind to go searching around for the Staff of Rain. That's going to cost him some time, and jkoper's already got that checked off the list. Too much butt thou must in this seed for my taste. But it's gotta be done. Oh, yeah, we don't have any of the fun games of, like, where's Edric's sword gonna be in Charlock? We pretty much got everything we need. It doesn't look like hit points would be something where a death necklace would come in handy at any point here. Looks like just kind of average, pretty well dispersed level and stat gains. Probably going to be a simple matter of just grabbing a couple more levels, grabbing the drop, and ending on down. Although jkoper, has he found? No, I don't think he's found Rimuldar yet, unless I missed that as well. Because he's taken some time to go ahead and check those last two chests in the grave.
Yeah, so even there we have a little bit of parity in that Lord of the Synth, not quite sure if he'll know where to go to exchange that harp, and jkoper hasn't seen Rimuldar yet to pick up the Stones of Sunlight.
Yeah, so it's not completely free here. We've got some mapping left to do, which can, obviously jkoper's got to take the time to pick up the token as well. So still a little ways to go. At least we know from before that there's some decent enemies in the grave, so he's not going to be just, stuck at the same experience points.
Right, he can kind of pick his spots here too, like he is currently with this wizard, and pick up some more experience as he goes.
Lord of the Synth back on the overworld map. I think he's trying to piece together where 69 north and 20 west might take him. So right about 17 paces up from there. So that could have been a fairly easy count, but I think Gwaelin, all things considered, it's probably a push for time. She's cutting some time off of this as well. And there's token get for Lord of the Synth. jkoper getting the bad news that the rest of the grave is devoid of useful items.
So he quickly outsides, and he knows he's going to have to try to find that search spot.
Let's smoke some wool for good measure. Well, that there marks the end of the fetch quest for Lord of the Synth. So at some point there, either I just missed it or he had earlier gotten the staff raid. So that's going to make this real interesting. We're going to have to see how quickly jkoper can knock out tracking down Rimuldar to get those stones and use Gwaelin to get those coordinates. He's got about a, what is that, about a 1,700 to 1,800 point lead right now. But with that Axe Knight down in the Swamp Cave, that's not going to last very long.
Yeah, that total can evaporate very quickly with an efficient grind like that, so if Lord of the Synth can get right back to it, he could close that gap pretty quickly.
Not sure. It looks like he might be trying to get back to... I hope he wasn't going out of his way to go for these stone men. Maybe he had not yet found them? Not sure if that's true or not. Oh yeah, he may not have. So probably wanted to check, although I don't know that I necessarily would have gone out of my way to check if I knew I already had Axe Knights down there.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, if you find an Axe Knight, you're going to want to camp that, so this is an interesting choice.
I'm not sure. I think chat kind of agrees with me that this is the first time he's been here, but he didn't. I mean, not that you necessarily would, but he didn't grab the fairy flute, which could, in some circumstances, help you in Charlock. The merits of the two different grinds are, if you have hurt more, I mean, Axe Knights are about 1.5 on average attacks per kill. For a Stone Man, you're looking more towards the 4 or 5 attacks, counting a turn wasted on chanting sleep at least before killing him. The Stone Men give you about 25 more experience per kill, but that really doesn't make up for the speed of killing the Axe Knights.
Yeah, definitely. Your rate of experience per minute is just tends to be a lot higher on those Axe Knights, especially if you have the Hurt More spell.
It looks like he's bailing out of here. And I agree, I don't think he stopped to pick up the flute. Not that that's a terrible, oversight or anything, but... And jkoper approaching a town. Not sure if he is... Not sure which town this is. But it's one of no consequence, because he's immediately backing away from it.
Yeah, he's amid his token search, so... I'm not quite sure what that town was either, and I'm not sure we'll find out.
Yeah, Lord of the Synth had found Rumoldar so kind of early on. It's been so long, I have no recollection of where that was. Koper's a couple steps to the, too far to the west. And he's right on it. And there's the token.
Lord of the Synth on his way back to the Axe Knights. Very likely a good call there.
Yeah, and he's probably only about a minute and a half away from closing this experience gap.
And even now that jkoper has the token, he's still got to try to find Rimuldar. I think he's narrowed it down and must know that's the last place he has to search, so just comes down to tracking it down on the map.
Tracking it down, and then he's going to have to do a quick backtrack to Garinham to pick up the drop before making his descent into the Swamp Cave back to the Second Continent here. So I guess we can kind of talk about what stats we're going to be looking for.
Yeah, we've been getting these steady gains here. Looks like at level 14 they've got 121 attack power, so that's a little bit light at this point. But the agility is pretty good. They've got, let's see, they've got 12 heal mores there.
Yeah, I think realistically I'd be just really looking for about 8 to 10 more attack power and call it a day. I think everything else looks pretty good. Just need to get up to where that average attack's somewhere in that 12 to 13 range.
Yeah, and then from there they'll have plenty of healing to take care of it, so provided that Charlock dive isn't especially difficult, then that should work out okay.
Yeah, a lot of it is going to depend on what the enemies are like down there. We have no idea what the fun police might look like. And even at pretty solid agility there, 90 agility is nothing to sneeze at, but Armor Knights can pose issues. If anything has sleep, that's going to pose an issue, especially if it's paired with fire or paired with hurt more. So there's still some twists and turns to navigate here, but I think they're going to be 1 to 2 levels away depending on strength gains. And of course having heal more guaranteed by 16.
Yeah, so now Lord of the Synth has, I think with this Axe Knight, we'll move up to about the close to 6,500 experience, so the gap is rapidly diminishing.
Yeah, this is painful because it's hard. Just finding that one town that's eluded you so far is no fun.
Yeah, that can just be a really frustrating circumstance when you know exactly what it is that you have to find, and yeah, it's just kind of evading you everywhere you've been able to search on the map. Sorry about that. Just going to say, up to NG pointing out in the chat that they are defense breaking at 95 defense points, that Axe Knight, so Lord of the Synth has switched over to just using his sword.
Yeah, I think that's the good call. But, and at that same time, Lord of the Synth has eclipsed jkoper's experience lead here. Yeah, no healing spells yet, so we're just kind of working off herbs, which is, I guess, what you gotta do here. I still think, like you mentioned, just the physicals are the way to go, even though you could maybe shave a turn off the attack with hurt mores. But this is a good grind he's got going here.
I think now just this Axe Knight away from the next level, so we'll get to see if these statistics he'll pick up here will put him into go mode. $11 power. I think that's the ticket. Although...
Yeah, so that puts you right at a 12 average with 13 heal mores, which to my math at well past midnight for me is 156 damage. which could definitely do it, and that's really assuming that you get no doubles and no, that'd be getting back attack. So I think he's good to go. I would definitely be looking at making a dive with these numbers. But did he get heal more? That's what I did not see yet.
No, didn't pick up heal more. He's still working on those herbs there, and I think took a couple more Axe Knights, and now possibly considering trying to pick this level up on the way down. Defense breaking a lot of things. You have pretty good agility, and possibly have a heal more to spare. So heal more or 2 to spare. So might be the play here to pick up heal more on the way down.
Yeah, agreed. I think you might as well. With the amount of things that you're defense breaking, at least take a peek. Head in, see if it's all fun police, or see if you're going to be just mashing through those kind of lower tier Charlock enemies. And honestly, if something were to go wrong, or if the level, something sleeps him here, jkoper is still within a striking distance if anything kind of trips up Lord of the Synth here. Yeah, super frustrating not being able to find that last town that's got the one thing you need, no matter what it is. It's typically, the meme is that it's coal. That coal doesn't exist because typically it's got the armor, the token, or something vital, but this time it's Rimaldar throwing the curveball with the stones.
Yeah, kind of unusual, but it's just, like you said, it's so frustrating when you know exactly what it is that you need to find.
I think that's it. I think he's got it.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Meanwhile, while he's grabbing these stones, Lord of the Synth is throwing down the rainbow drop. So far, it's been lower tier enemies, looked like, so he's mashing through a werewolf right now on Lord of the Synth side. Those are the enemies that he wants to see, the ones that he's defense breaking and can just pound through in a couple turns.
And here's some Axe Knights now too, so if this keeps up, picking up the level on the way down should be relatively simple, but obviously I don't want to jinx anything at this stage.
Yeah, sure. He's about, a third of the way there already, and we're only, we're not even really through the first floor yet, so he's got a good pace going. jkoper's going ahead and getting prepped for his grind to finish things out here while he gets the rainbow drop.
Yeah, and he's only, what is that, about 300 experience, 307 I guess, away from hitting level 15, so it'll be interesting to see. I would expect that he's also going to start his dive at that point and say, you know what, no heal more yet, but we've got to pick it up on the way down, because the way the seed is gone, I would have to think that both racers are feeling the pressure a little bit here. It's been kind of smooth sailing, except for that long stretch that jkoper had to spend searching, and because of that, he might feel he's behind.
Yeah, that definitely. I think definitely that it's just enough to make you really feel, because if all it takes is a quick stumble upon Rimaldar early, and that would save you probably about 10 minutes or so. So he's definitely feeling it. Lord of the Synth might be feeling pretty good here. He might be willing to take things a little more cautiously just to make sure that he gets, gets down there with his MP, gets down there with this level, and gets there to finish it off. Yeah, the fun police as of yet have been off having tea and crumpets somewhere. They aren't around to wreak any havoc. So maybe they've all been hanging out on the bottom floor just waiting.
We do, of course, still have that last boss tile to see, so maybe that's where they will finally make an appearance.
Containing maybe sleep and Dragon Lord breath, who knows?
It's a little strange sometimes in these kinds of seeds. You're already making your dive a minute 10 in, or pardon me, an hour 10 in, and it's kind of like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, but sometimes it just kind of goes smooth sailing, so we'll see what happens.
Right. Yeah, I think the opposite of smooth sailing was jkoper's race a couple of weeks ago against BT.
Oh goodness, yeah, that one was... I think, yeah, if there's a polar opposite of this seed, that was the one. So, wow, Lord of the Synth picking up level 16. Not that he really needed the statistics at this point, but that was a pretty big one. 23 MP there, not going to be able to make use of it, but he got the all-important Heal More spell, so that was the main point.
Yeah, it doesn't really need it the way things panned out here, but jkoper, on the other hand, is just going to go ahead and grind to level 16 down on this Axe Knight. So may, all things considered, have a quicker dive, but he's going to need a little help from the Dragon Lord and his cronies to make up the lead that Lord of the Synth has jumped out to here. We mentioned at the start of the game that this is a race of a couple of 1 and 2 racers, but I believe, as I mentioned, jkoper, his 2 losses came to Zarnax and BT, so 2 other big veterans in the community. So no fault to him here. It is a red dragon.
Yeah, that was my fault. I apologize for that one. Shouldn't have said anything.
Looks pretty vanilla so far. Oh man, just manning up and swinging on that one.
Yeah, wow, that's
I mean, the count, the damage was definitely there to do that. It's just
right.
that red dragons can dodge so easily. That's always a risk to swing.
Yeah, you can have it counted out, and then just all it takes is you roll badly on that miss, and they get their dodge, and that's the end of the Sharlock run.
Yeah, to finish out what I was saying as we enter into this Dragon Lord fight, Lord of the Synth's 2 losses, I believe, came against Ryu Saishin and High Spirits, so, I mean, that's more or less just luck of the draw in the Swiss rounds, causing the 1 and 2 records. These are 2 very capable runners, and we're seeing it here tonight.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, they've just, we've talked about it a lot on the broadcast, but the fields are just so deep for this tournament. And they happened to draw some challenging races and acquitted themselves well, but just only been able to pull out a victory. victory apiece so far.
No back attack here, so smooth sailing, I believe. I don't think that this is going to cause him too much trouble, so unless he gets a missed input somewhere, something along those lines, you know, it's going to be, should be good to go. We're already at 44 damage if my count's right. jkoper making his dive now though, so this does need to work for Lord of the Synth, otherwise jkoper's going to have a good shot at this. I believe I missed an attack there, so are we maybe somewhere around 70 done? He's getting good rolls though. These are solid rolls.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of mid to upper teens there.
Does wind up getting a double attack as well there, so that should just about seal it for him. Yeah, wow, because the minimum here is 9, so unless I missed a low roll in there, he's done. There's a 10, but that's the one that does the trick, so get out your GGs for Lord of the Synth. Looks like the official time here. I'm going to get it entered in. Official SRL time of 1 hour 17 minutes 40 seconds. We'll invite Lord of the Synth in for a quick chat about the seed here as soon as he gets settled into Discord.
And I know that right about now, as jkoper enters the basement, he's really got to be ruining that Rimalder search. Just one of those things. It's very frustrating to have to deal with.
Yeah, he's got to know in his head here that that's the difference in this. That you know, that cost him definitely more than the time difference here. So it's just a matter of mapping. You know, it's hard to keep track, especially with 2 continents now. It's hard to necessarily efficiently map and remember everywhere you've been, and everywhere maybe you didn't get quite to the end of the peninsula in your mapping. So, but definitely a very solid job by Lord of the Synth to take this one home tonight.
Absolutely, and jkoper's managed to time this one out so that he picks up 16 on the boss tile, so that worked out pretty well.
Yep, he paced it out perfectly, and he's going to be looking just fine for this fight as well.
Absolutely.
It'll be a quick siesta from Lord of the Synth, and I do believe he's going to join us in just a minute or two here. jkoper takes his turn at being a fool and punches off Dragon Lord 1. Ooh, he gets back attacked, but just a 25-point attack, so he still gets an attack in before he has to heal more. I do believe we have Lord of the Synth joining us in chat now. GG, sir.
GG.
Thank you very much.
Very well done.
I'm amazed I won that one after I wasted like 3 minutes walking around blind in Garen's grave.
Yeah, you two both at separate time, or I think right about the same time in the race, were kind of meandering around caves completely in the dark and leaving myself and Archfield here in the chat in the dark as to what exactly was going on.
It was basically just like watching your sprites pirouette continually.
Yeah, so Radiant on level 16, that's kind of harsh, especially it took me forever to find a town to buy a fortune. But I knew it was the grave from the count around the steps, and I'm like, I can go grab those 3 chests, one of which had a magic key. But then I messed up my count walking back out. And eventually I just kept counting and recounting and like, okay, where do I think I am based on all this? Because once I saw that magic key, I'm like, I don't want to die in here. I want to go all the way back to the castle.
Yeah, that's definitely definitely kind of unfortunate there, but it may have worked out for you. One of the big things, I think jkoper was kind of grinding metal slimes early as he polishes off the Dragon Lord. So he's going to go ahead and finish out, get a final time, and probably join us as well. But he was grinding metal slimes, but kind of early on you had found Rimeldar, and that turned out to be very important.
Yeah, so I avoided trying to cross the swamps because they seemed pretty big, and then I quickly learned I was boxed in. It took me so long to get there. I really, I would have sworn Koper would have found that in like 15 minutes top.
Sometimes it's those ones that just kind of tucked around a corner early because mentally you think, I haven't found it yet, it's got to be off in a corner somewhere. But yeah, that turned out to be kind of a big difference maker. He had an experience lead for probably about 2/3 of the race.
Oh, absolutely. It took me so long to get going. I knew he was going to go ahead in experience, which is why when I got Gwaylin, I spent time grinding Axe Knights. And then came back after finding Hawk's Nest and the Stone Man, and for some reason not picking up the Fairy Flute.
Yeah, we noticed that. I mean, it's obviously not the most important piece of equipment, but you never know when it could come in handy in Charlock.
Yeah, about the time I entered Charlock, I realized I had forgotten it. I'm like, well, I hope the mini-boss is in the Golem, because I can probably take it, but I don't want to have to burn a heal more, and I might be low on herb.
Right. Yeah. No. Most definitely. That was my thinking. It's normally the times when you kind of choose not to take a second and pick it up that it comes back to bite you, but you escaped that one here.
Yeah. And then so I went back to the Swamp Cave and I ground level 15, and then I realized both heal more and radiant were all going to be on 16. I knew my defense was high enough that I had stuff damage broken, so I'm like, okay, we'll just try and get 16 on the way down, pick stuff up, and between the AP and the Magic Arc hat should be fine.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about the start. Obviously, level 3 hurt more, and then the sword not too far behind it, and a lot of enemies that were just very hurt-moreable. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, so I was trying to hang on to like that 1,200 or so gold that I picked up right in the beginning. And then I'm like, oh, I've got hurt more. And it's like, suddenly it's like, well, I don't care so much about gold anymore because I can clean up endgame enemies like Star Wyverns and Knights and Axe Knights who have a lot of gold. So then I slipped into exploration mode. I had intended to grind out level 5, and I'm like, let's just go for it.
Yeah, it was just kind of a fantastic. I think you had a little bit of a rougher time getting the start off. Just ran into some more Stonemen and Star Wyverns, but that was fantastically quick early game, which always makes for an interesting seed. We're also joined in chat here by jkoper. GG, sir.
Thanks.
GG, jkoper.
GG.
So normally, if there's a town that we don't believe exists, it tends to be Cole. At least that's the meme in the community. But tonight that was Rimmildar for you.
Yeah, that was just a failure by me to do thorough exploration, and I should have realized a lot sooner that that area was the most likely area for something to be hiding in. But I didn't. So, yeah, that was the big thing. I feel like I need to explain also what happened earlier. So I know the grave, and I know how to get to the chests, but then that's all I know, because that's all that's ever come up.
Yeah, I wandered around in the dark for like 4 minutes after getting those 3 chests.
Oh, I did it for a lot longer than that.
Yeah, so I honestly thought you were sticking around to grind metal slimes because that seemed to be working for you.
Well, I kind of was, but then it got really slow after a while, and I was like, I need to get out of here. But for the first level or two, I was like, I don't know how to get out, but I'm gonna just walk around, and either I'll die, and then I can probably do a gold grind, or I'll learn Radiant or Outside. And then 2 levels went by, and of course we didn't learn hardly any spells in the whole seed, so it wasn't a surprise that we didn't learn those spells. So I just kept walking back and forth until finally I ended up on the stairs and got out of there. But I killed a good number of metal slimes in that seed, so I don't have that complaint. Just wandering around that cave and wandering around the overworld, not getting in a single encounter for like 15 minutes of overworld travel was just the killer. So
yeah, I had a couple stretches like that. Garen's Grave, I tried to die and failed because I think I had the armor at that point. I'm not sure. But that really long east-west corridor that's on level 1 of the grave, eventually I blundered my way back into that, and just by going east and west long enough, I'm like, okay, I have a reasonably good idea where I am now. And just kind of guessed my way out from there.
Yeah, I wish it was something to where, I don't know, I could tap into your guys' brains there, because it was hard for us to really know exactly what was going on. It's just, for us, we're just watching sprites kind of face different directions in the dark, so it was really hard to kind of pick up. But that's really interesting, because both of you, the first things you really wanted to say was, yeah, Garen's Grave really cost me some time this time around.
Ordinarily, without Torture Radiant, I just skipped the grave. But I figured, because I'm up against jkoper, I'm like, I know my way in. Let's see if I can get back out.
yeah, so I guess that didn't make too big of a difference as far as the competition between the synth and I here, but the not finding Rimmildar was the bigger thing, I suppose. I expect that with a larger race of this seed, there'd probably be people putting up sub-hour. It was very nice.
By the time about 103, 105 rolled around, I was like, why hasn't he got done yet?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, I mean, basically, I went as far as I possibly could, except for traversing the swamp cave, because I like to leave that alone when I play. So by the time I got to Rimmildar and started finding everything that was so close by, because there were like, I'm looking at my map here, and there are 6 locations in really close proximity. I assumed you probably had kept going west from the grave whenever you were finished with it and found those right off the bat.
Oh, well, I was in the grave after. I came around like, I pretty much found coal in the armor immediately, and then got a hand axe, and you know, I was in really good shape. And
Yeah,
then I found the the tablet cave, and then I set that aside for a bit, and then I found whatever else was over there. I don't know if it was just the
basement, Tangential basement.
yeah, that, yep, and then I found the grave, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah,
I basically did that entire sequence in reverse order.
but you had the armor already. Was Cole on the way? Was Cole but the one by the basement, or what was by the basement there?
Cole was by the basement.
Okay.
There was a good amount of time where you had the armor and Lord of the Synth did not, and he wound up getting out of the grave faster and immediately going back to the castle, and
because I knew that was Mountain Cave.
Quicker.
As soon as I got in there after picking keys, I knew that was Mountain Cave. So there was a point where I was about to go back into the grave to finish up, which was after I found Cole in the armor. And I'm like, wait, I'll just go back, clear out Mountain Cave, do my gold grind, and then come back around to Rimmildar for the Silver Shield. At least I think that's what it was.
No. Yeah, I got mine in Garenham, the Silver Shield.
You both definitely did seem to take opposite directions at the start once you got hurt more. So you were in the grave at the same time, but yeah, jkoper had the armor. Lord of the Synth, you did not at that point, if I'm remembering everything correctly.
And I believe the first weapon I actually got was Eric's sword.
Right, and I had missed that. I knew you had to have something jkoper because you were hitting things pretty hard, but I had missed the hand axe pickup, so that's good to know.
Yeah, I bought it immediately after the armor. I just walk up and search, and then walk back down to the shop.
But highlighting some of the positives, I mean, you guys really carved up this seed really well, outside of, like you said, one or two things where just exploration. But what did you think about the monsters, the monster sets that you'd encountered throughout the seed?
This one was just honestly pretty soft. I don't think I encountered anything that had Dragonlord breath until the Dragonlord.
Yeah,
I saw one or two things, but definitely not before I had armor already. I think there was just one thing that hit me with Dragonlord breath. What was it?
Not 100% sure that I picked up on that, but it seemed like there was just a ton of like specters, druid lords, even werewolves, knights, things that were just one hurt more and really good experience. So it was just a super fast early game, hard to keep up with. You guys were blazing through it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it despite the rough start. I missed a PB, according to my splits, by about 12 seconds.
Nice work then. Yeah, well, good game. Glad you got a win at least.
Yes, sir. So it sounds like next week each of you are going to have an opportunity to get a win and continue on in the tournament. So Lord of the Synth moving on to the 2-2 here. Gonna have a chance to be straight away in the bracket or fall back into the play-in race, and jkoper gonna have an opportunity to get into that play-in race where I would think, I mean, there's some other big names that are gonna be right there with you, but gonna be one of the perhaps favorites of that play-in race to make your way into the bracket as well. So best of luck heading throughout the next, the fifth and final round of the Swiss here. But any last second thoughts you guys wanted to get in before we adjourn for the night?
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully next time I'm not an idiot in my exploration. But thank you. Thanks so much for doing the restream commentary and tracking and everything.
Yeah, I'm actually the amount of essentially backtracking and multiple trips I had to do across terrain I'd already seen like sometimes 10 minutes previously. I'm surprised it was as even as it apparently was, because apparently you had a huge EXP lead at some point, jkoper.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because I was, like I said, everything
All
was
those
pretty
metal
efficient.
slimes.
I killed several metal slimes, and everything was going well up until I just couldn't find Rimuldar, and I was using Repel, and Repel was taking away almost every battle. So there was nothing worth fighting that was interested in me. So,
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah, well, like I say, definitely still a very well played seed. Very fast, even with the trolley Rimuldar and some quest item things there. But yeah, definitely GG to both of you. I know we've got a lot of the races out of the way for the week already, but I know we're going to have some more tomorrow. So definitely check into your Randomania networks here tomorrow for the upcoming races. But any last second thoughts, Archfield, or anything to kick it to tonight?
Just some real quick programming notes. As you mentioned, we do have over half of the races out of the way so far for this round, but we do have two coming your way, depending on where you are, either tomorrow night or tonight. So on Thursday, we do have scheduled right now at 8 o'clock, we have WMD 88 against Retro Omega X. So that's a battle between two competitors who are 0-3. So that's essentially an elimination match for both of them. And then a very good one at 10 o'clock Eastern, as Zarnax42 is scheduled to take on Mr. Holmes. So that's definitely a match that you want to look into. Both of those coming up in probably a little less than 24 hours at this point.
Yeah, fantastic races. Like you mentioned, a lot on the line. I think the winner of that Mr. Holmes Zarnax match is going to be. They're both 2-1, so that'll be winners in the bracket. The other's got to do a little more work to do. So. Yeah,
that's right. So looking forward to that tomorrow, and I think that'll about do it for us here. I just want to give a quick shout out to the tie-dye guy who was willing to help me out with some technical issues that we were experiencing at the beginning of the race, having a little bit of trouble getting the stream off the ground. And I do want to thank everybody in chat too, because they were very helpful as we ironed out some of those technical and sound issues that we were having. So thank you for being along with us tonight. And I think that about wraps it up for us.
Well, thank you very much, Archfield Monk, for doing the restreaming and getting everything set up for us. And thanks, Lord of the Synth and jkoper, for putting on a great race.
Thank you, and thanks for putting on the show very late Eastern time.
All right, everybody. Regardless of what time it is where you are, I hope you have a good night, and take care and tempt not the fates. Thanks, everyone.